Hello, fellow Toolboxers. Welcome to the Immigration Lawyers Podcast, or Toolbox Podcast, episode 347. We have a great guest, Laura Ferner, coming here to talk about her practice, kind of work she does, and also the Midsouth Chapter Conference that's coming up. Really important to know about all these different events locally that are happening. And frankly, if you have the time and money, I would travel to all of them and get to know colleagues around the place, the inside knowledge. So we're getting that for you right here on the Immigration Lawyers Toolbox Podcast. Before we start, I want to thank our wonderful sponsor, E-Immigration by Serenade. You probably all know them already, but I want you to get to know them more. Great company that provides all sorts of different services, top-rated reviews, one of the leading software vendors in the space that we have in the immigration field. You can learn more about them by go to serenade.com, Serenade with the C, and also talk with their team to do a practice round with their software so you can compare with what you have already. Or a lot of people have never used software before. It's a great place to start without any pressure, kind of test it out, see how it works, and see the magic of foreign software can do for you, especially one that's greatly designed like the stuff that E-Immigration has with their E-Immigration by Serenade has. So serenade.com to see is the website. And other thing is, for the Toolbox, we're giving out free white labeled marriage green card checklist. That checklist is really the bona fides list, so it makes it easy up having to communicate with clients. Give them this checklist of different kinds of documents used for bona fides. It's free on our circle.so community page. All you got to do if you're a lawyer is to email me with your bar numbers. I know you're a lawyer. We only let lawyers on the site, on the community page, and let us know, and we'll give you access there. Plus, you'll get access to other white label content, hours and hours of CLEs on different topics, 245I, H2B, abandonment, 212D, all this kind of stuff that you want to know, plus much more, marketing, office management, operations, all that. And we're just adding more and more to it. So I think you're going to like that. But there's much more stuff I want to talk about, the course, the magazine, all that. We'll leave it at the outro. Let's get the show started without further ado. All the information provided here is not intended as individual legal guidance. Please consult with an attorney, but you all know that already. Let's get it started. Hi, Laura. Thank you so much for coming on this show. I appreciate it. Why don't you start letting us know a little about how you got into immigration, and then we'll talk about your practice and how it all operates. Yes, your background would be really helpful.
Okay, great. Hi, I'm Laura Ferner. So I practice immigration law in Arkansas, and I kind of got into it. I think the first part is being a immigrant myself. I'm originally from Germany. So I came here in 98, started college, went to undergrad, did not really know what to do. After undergrad, went to law school. It seemed like the natural next step. Why, I don't know. Maybe because my dad's a lawyer. And and stumbled into an immigration law class, and I really liked it. And that's kind of where I stuck with it.
So what happened to your accent? The Germans always keep a little bit of the accent. You don't have any.
Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe so my mom's from Finland, so I grew up speaking Finnish and German growing up. So maybe there's a little bit of a knack of like learning languages or speaking them. I don't really know.
Sure. Now, being a German citizen, you'd have to probably deal with the dual citizenship stuff. They eased it up like last 24 months or
Yeah.
something like that. But there's this really long word in German. I remember I had to tell my clients when they wanted to try to get U.S. citizenship and keep both. How have you probably had to deal with that a lot in your
Ja,
practice?
die Beibehaltung der deutschen Staatsbürgerschaft.
That might be.
Yeah, not so much. Arkansas surprisingly does not have that many German immigrants, and I have not naturalized yet. It's actually as of this past July that we're eligible to keep both,
Oh, is that okay?
but
Yeah.
I have not naturalized. So I've been a permanent resident since 2001, I think. Yeah. And I didn't naturalize because I didn't want to go through that process. And then my whole family is still over there, including parents, siblings, everybody.
Yeah. Is the new? I mean, I hate to pry into your own immigration stuff. I'm
Right.
immigration lawyer. That's the new situation in July change your mind up to do it, or still thinking about how it's going to work?
Definitely. And yeah, definitely. It's been a consideration. I haven't gotten to it. I know my law partners are pressing me, and they want more voters in our counties. And, but I have not done so, no. But I've thought about
Because I used to always pressure my clients, naturalize. You never know
it.
with the green card. You never know what's going to happen. But that the whole losing, it's interesting. There's Japan. Let's see, Brazil's okay. Japan, China, Germany. A couple of those
Mhm.
German kind of countries are like the Austria as well. But France and England are okay. But you got to I've memorized the list. India, that
Right.
like these big countries where you can't get dual citizenship unless rare circumstances. But I'm glad they're opening it up to make it more flexible.
It definitely makes it nicer, and it allows for flexibility in deciding if you wanna live in other places. Because the majority of our clients, as soon as they naturalize, they then move back to their home country
Yeah.
and retire often, yeah. Yeah.
So what got you I mean, you said what is it that particular that got you immigration? What kind of cases you first handle? That kind of stuff.
So I got into immigration via my professor. He was an adjunct professor at the university, and then he had his private practice. And I kind of started, two of us from his class started working for him. He
Neat.
handled a ton, well, all family matters, and a ton of removal defense. At that time, that was 2006, 2005, 2006. There weren't many immigration attorneys where I practice now because we didn't
Hmm.
have an immigration clinic at the law school. And so we kind of did everything besides employment-based law. Yeah, so that's how I got my feet wet. Our courts were about 5 or 6 hours away. That was wild. We had to travel. There was no WebEx back then. So that was a lot of traveling and navigating that as a young attorney and young mother, or mother of young children rather. That was a
Oh
lot.
boy.
Yeah.
How old are the kids now?
24. My daughter's 24 now. Yeah.
Oh, congrats. Wonderful.
Yeah.
And so, one thing I noticed on your website is your firm has many lawyers, but you're the only person doing immigration.
Correct. Yes.
So that's its own niche of being, which a lot of colleagues listening have this, being the only immigration attorney in a
Mhm.
field that does either contingency or flat or hourly billing.
Yeah.
How do you negotiate it in this web where they don't understand what we're doing and things we have to
So
do?
yeah, so I came to this firm. So how did that happen? So I had my own, so I was an associate in that law firm with my old professor, and then from there I opened my own firm for a few years and
Hmm.
ran that, and I got really um tired of doing all the admin stuff. I was
Yeah.
really that was just a lot, managing people, and being by yourself and then raising a child by yourself. And as my daughter grew older, the demands on her were bigger. You have to drive them
Oh,
from
don't tell me that. I got
A
three
to
small ones. I thought I thought it gets better.
So I was approached by this firm. They were looking for somebody else to join with their established practice. And so it just kind of fit together. We had to navigate a lot. They didn't have a lot of foreign nationals at that time, clients speaking different languages. So of course we had to hire, a new receptionist that spoke Spanish, etc., all those things. But
Hmm.
it's been good, I think, for all of us together.
That's really good. As long as they understand. I've just a lot of colleagues get into that. Then like I always talk about it because there's billable hours and stuff. But
Mhm.
when you have a flat rate, it's diminishing returns the more you spend time on it, as
Right.
opposed to other ones that you make more money. So it's like I'm assuming you do flat rate billing for probably a lot of your
Yeah,
cases.
the majority I do flat fixed price is what my one partner likes to call it instead of flat rate. Um, yeah, so I do that. Then some of us do some divorces and estate planning, and those are also on a flat rate basis.
Oh, interesting. Yeah,
And so, yeah, so we kind of have a mix of everything. Yeah, it's good.
very cool. So, what part? Where's your practice located?
In Springdale, Arkansas, that is Northwest Arkansas. It's the corner of the state. North of us is Missouri, and west of us is Oklahoma.
Are there any particular demographics or type of cases that's prevalent there?
So we are the headquarters of Tyson Chicken. So
Oh boy.
we have a lot of poultry processing plants here. So we have a lot of course, Mexican nationals. We have a lot of Salvadorans and
Well, I'll pause right there. Do you handle the H-2B on the employer side, or do you take more of
no,
the beneficiary side?
I
Okay.
do beneficiaries only. I have a few employees, but those are employers. Those are just H-1Bs. I don't do any
Hmm.
H-2Bs or anything like that. Tyson actually started a program with a local nonprofit, and now they have hired a nonprofit, I think, in Indiana, where
Hmm.
they contract them to help their employees file for TPS renewals and things of that nature, which is very interesting. It's good and bad, I think, in
Yeah.
the long run. But yeah,
Yeah.
and so then the other demographic we have here that most other states don't have. We have actually the highest population of Marshallese nationals outside of the Marshall Islands in Arkansas.
Wow, that's a whole niche area of law. Because I always see the updates with Marshall Islands, and I just like I'm never gonna touch that, so I just
Yeah,
never read the
yeah.
updates. But I guess you have to know what's going on right there.
We do, and like the only time it really comes into play is when there are criminal issues involved, right? And deportation proceed or removal proceedings are initiated against some of them. Yeah.
Well, maybe you can feel what? Why is Marshall Islands like a niche area where they update the rules specifically for? I don't even I don't know anything about it. What is it about Marshall Islands that's different?
So it's the Compact of Free Association, I think. Don't quote me on the exact term, but so the status is sort of a limbo status. It's indefinite, but it's not legal permanent residency, and it doesn't lead to legal permanent residency on its own unless they join the military or marry a US citizen, right?
Mm,
So it's still the same process, but they just come here, get an I-94, and with that they get an EAD. But then they're still
oh,
still subject to all like removability issues. So if you have somebody with like a domestic violence issue or anything like that,
yeah.
they potentially can be removed back to the Marshall Islands. And so I think all that came to be when with the nuclear testing on the Marshall Islands and
Hmm.
the island being now gone and not habitable.
Wow. Immigration, you see history, how it actually plays out in practice, and that's a new thing. Like,
Absolutely.
amazing. So thanks for sharing. That's interesting. So a lot of so you do employment based stuff that pops up. You got family stuff. I'd imagine there's like sometimes T and U visa stuff that pops up in the
Mhm.
poultry, just factory and food work, agriculture workers and stuff like that.
Yeah, we do a lot of U visas. T visas, we do some. I don't see them directly out of the poultry industry. It's like ancillary things,
Yeah.
or it's been more people that have like been brought here to work and then support family at home, that kind of in that
Yeah.
realm. But lots of use, lots of SIJs in this area
Mm.
also. And I think that had to do with a lot of people, came here, had TPS, and then sometimes their families came. And yeah, we now also have, there's one refugee resettlement agency here in Arkansas. And so I helped them with becoming BIA accredited and
Oh,
having
interesting.
two of their reps BIA accredited. So we did a lot of people from Congo and then Afghanistan. Yeah, we had like 300 Afghans come, which for a small state like Arkansas is, a lot to resettle.
I've never been to Arkansas, but I'm guessing like the demographics are shifting. I was talking with another trainer for interview for Iowa, Nebraska area. She was telling
Mhm.
me where like Somali and what is next to it, like demographics are really shifting because if sudden you pop in this demographic that doesn't look the same. The numbers of Afghans came out to withdraw, and you said, I didn't even sure how Marshall Island people look like. I'm guessing they look Hawaiian kind of the style, but
Yeah,
you start
like
noticing a difference.
mhm. Yeah, Polynesian, Hawaiian,
Polynesian,
that
yeah.
like yeah, in that area. And then and then also because where we are is the headquarters for Walmart. So we do have a fairly large population of Indian Americans coming too.
Oh, interesting. Is it Bentonville, Arkansas? Is that close by?
Yeah. All
And so,
Northwest Arkansas, it's one big conglomerate.
oh, I see. I've heard they got a bunch of whole airfield where they just fly out constantly, have their own airstrip and everything
Mhm,
because their executives
mhm.
are always flying everywhere. Man, you really learned a lot about it inside of how America actually operates from being an
Yep.
immigration attorney.
Yeah, it's fun. It's been good.
So, how does the next couple of years look for you? I mean, the election, who knows which way it's going to go, but either way, there's going to be either the same, which is a lot of differences are happening with the border and stuff, or different, which is going to throw up everything up in the air, and who knows what happens. How do you
Yeah.
plan for that, or can you plan at all?
I mean, that's pretty hard to plan, I think. I think what the first 4 years taught me, if that comes to be, the same person being in office again, there's definitely gonna be a lot more, focus on my own mental health as well,
Yeah.
I think, and making sure that I prioritize that. Like, I already have a month away plan next year for Europe. I'm going to Europe for a month in September, so I've that carved out. And so I think things like that in that nature. And on top of that, I have completely quit removal defense. I'm not taking any more new
Yeah.
cases. I'm closing out the ones I have. I think I have 2 or 3 left right now on the calendar. And so those are the ways I'm doing that for myself.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but I mean, I still run into colleagues who are getting deeper into remote defense, but it's a lot of pressure. Especially how are the timelines getting a hearing there? Is it like 5 years away, 10 years away, kind of stuff there too?
I I think so. So the Memphis Immigration Court is the closest one that or that handles the cases out of Arkansas, and they really stacked the court. So for a long time we only had 2 judges, then we went to 4 judges, and now in the last few years they've gone up to, I think now we're up to 15 judges.
Wow.
So that's a big jump. So I
Yeah.
think cases might be moving maybe a little bit faster there. I couldn't really tell you.
Doesn't alleviate because, and I get people contact me sometimes. They're like, my attorney sucks. I've been waiting for 10 years for or 8 years for my hearing. I'm like, it's not your lawyer, it's the system. Like 8 years is it's
Yeah.
insane sitting on a case for that long. That's why I can't even get near removal. I did some when I first started, but then the timeline started going crazy, and I'm like, well, even affirmative asylum cases here in Los Angeles, they're taking they still take 4 or 5, sometimes 8 years to get an affirmative asylum hearing. And so I'm like, how are you gonna sit on a case that long? It's just difficult to manage and upkeep, and who knows what's going on tomorrow, let alone 8 years from now.
Yeah, that's it's long. I mean, affirmative asylum cases are taken out of the New Orleans office are taken really, really long time. And then I have some out of Missouri, which is the Chicago asylum office. So those I think I've had some pending for 8 or 9 years. Yeah.
It's wild. Yeah, if it goes if it goes the other way, where the old president comes back, yeah. Last time around, I almost quit. I actually started this immigration toolbox much more deeper and started doing courses and stuff, so I could just
Mhm.
teach other people to do it, but not get directly involved in the fight myself. Because it was just every 12 hours there was a different change at the study. So half the time I was just trying to figure out what the new changes are, and then dealing with crazy RFEs or visa denials or refusals that didn't make any sense. So
That's frustrating.
it's so frustrating.
Yeah.
Just the technical work of it was too much. It created so many hours of extra work.
It was a lot. It was a lot. And like what we all call the Friday dump, every Friday
Yeah,
there was a new
yeah,
like what now, you know? Yeah, and and practicing over here is challenging in itself, right? Because we are such a sort of rural area, and depending on where your clients are, especially with removal defense, you're in a different jurisdiction all the time. So Arkansas is in the eighth jurisdiction, but Memphis courts are in the sixth.
mm,
And if your clients are detained, they go to Louisiana, so they're in the fifth. So it's like constantly like keeping up with all those changes too is can be a lot at times.
yeah. I do an interview monthly with Kevin Gregg. He studies all the federal court cases, and it's like he always says this circuit, that circuit. I'm like, how do you keep this all in your head? Like, there's so much studying to keep
Right.
up on this.
Yeah, for sure.
So now you got the Mid South chapter conference coming. What AILA chapters are included in your chapter, and what's happening there?
So the AILA Mid-South chapter, we're 5 states. So I think we are the chapter with the most states. So we are Arkansas, Louisiana, Tennessee, Mississippi, and Kentucky. And so every fall we try to have a conference, and every other year it is in New Orleans. That's what the our bylaws say, and I think it was written back when it was only New Orleans
Yeah,
lawyers in in the Mid South chapter, which is fun.
yeah.
It's a good city to visit, and yeah, so we have a 2-day conference, and the program is sort of varied. We have some government speakers, which is great. It's always interesting to have them come, and when they're like during the past administration, they weren't allowed to come
Yeah.
speak. I don't know if it was in California, how it was in California, but
No,
they
there's everywhere.
weren't
I think
allowed to.
AILA National, most, I mean, sometimes it would come, I think, but most of them would, especially CBP and stuff, wouldn't come. It was a lawsuit or something, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so we have some topics, some we always try to have because our chapter is so varied. We do have some business and then some removal and family stuff. And I think I'm speaking on parole. We're speaking on like, the keeping families together, of
Yeah.
course, but also military parole and parole in place and all other types of parole that have come through like CBP one and those types of things through the border and what those all mean and signify, I
Yeah. Do
guess,
you get
because it kind
into
of
arriving aliens?
confusing.
I'm sorry.
it gets confusing
Yeah.
sometimes also, I feel like. Yeah.
They're really using this parole program a lot, which is probably this lawsuit's about that's pending. But do you go, do you arriving alien? Because I just learned that arriving aliens is parole and you could adjust status. Because I usually don't handle anything in court. So I was studying, like, oh, wait a minute, this is something that I could use because apparently you can just go USCIS and do adjustment. They don't have to bother with the court. So
Yeah,
I was like, oh, this is
it's
magic. I
been
can't really
great.
turn down cases. And I said, we don't do them.
I know. It's been fun. Yeah, I had a few of those come through, and it's really fun because then removal cases take so long, right?
Yeah.
So these people then get established, find their spouse, and then we can adjust them. It's great.
Very cool. And your chapter must be growing because I hear a lot of people in Tennessee and a lot of Louisiana, a lot of new immigration lawyers come out of there. Have you noticed there be an influx of new colleagues in your chapter?
Um, I mean, I know that in Northwest Arkansas we're growing, but I think it has to do just also with yeah, I mean, there's some older established firms in Memphis, like
Yeah,
Greg's firm, Siskin and Sisser, and then in Louisiana too, like David Ware was there forever.
right.
I mean, those are old AILA staples,
Yeah.
and I don't know if they want me to call them old. I
No,
don't
they've
think
been
I should
around for
do
a
that.
while. They know. Yeah, that's a compliment. Yeah. I think Siski and
But
Sutter. I
they've
saw
been
on Twitter they had like their 25th, 30th year anniversary. They had a big party. So it was neat.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, so those law firms are great. And so I think from that are like, if an associate then opens
Yeah.
their own firm, like Lily Axelrod left, Siskin and Sisser and opened her own thing. So I think maybe with that, it seems like there might be a lot of new people, but also I feel like I've been doing this for almost 20 years. Sometimes I don't know all these new
Yeah.
people.
Well, it's good.
Yeah.
How did you get involved with working your AILA chapter? Did you start? Are you were you a chapter chair, or you just went to? How involved are your local chapter?
Yeah, so I'm a vice chair. I guess I'm going to be chair next summer. Yeah, when we go to Denver. And so I don't even know how I got involved. I've been a member forever, since I first started practicing, but I never got involved a whole lot as I started going to the local conferences, I
Mhm.
guess, and you became more friends with the
Yeah.
people. And so then you kind of started, yeah, I'll do this. And then we had this whole hiccup where one of our from the executive committee had to step down because of all these reasons. So midterm, they were looking for somebody to take over. And so I got nominated for that.
Be
And
careful what
then,
you do.
yeah, here I am.
A bunch of work
Here
just
I
landed in your lap.
am. Yeah. Exactly. It's been good. It's been fun. I got to organize last year. We had the first conference ever in Arkansas. That was
Hmm.
fun.
Oh, very cool.
People don't usually come to Arkansas for
It's
that.
worth it because you're trying to. I like to see every state of the union, but it's kind of hard finding a reason. But that's once the kids get a little bigger, I'm going to go to all the regional conferences, stop by, and just get to see America, how different it is.
It's good. It's a fun way to
Hmm.
do it, right?
Well, I look forward. I'll probably see you in Colorado this summer at the main chapter or main
Yes.
AILA event. So, thank you so much for coming on the show, Laura. Stick around for a second after we end it, but I appreciate it. If someone wanted to contact you or the firm, is there an email, website, or social media link that you recommend?
Yes. So our website is very easy. It's www.nwa.law. Stands for Northwest Arkansas. And yeah, and I'm on Facebook, Laura Ferner, I think attorney, immigration attorney. I'm not really sure, and Instagram
Very
too.
cool. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much for coming on the show. I look forward to meeting you in person.
Yeah, me too. I'm excited.
Calling over there in the Mid-South chapter conference. I can't wait till I can get to go to these places. You see, like the conversation is just fun talking with people if you listen to it. I just want to remind everybody the marriage immigration law course, the ultimate marriage green card law course that goes through consular processing, adjustment of status and admissibility, how to do a consultation, sample contracts, sample this, sample that. The best thing out there you can find. I've done it already. It's recorded 18 plus hours plus office hours. If you want to get yourself a team member involved, learn immigration law. You're already doing immigration law. You want to go by the book and read the statutes and the regulations and come to our monthly meetings, all that. Just contact me. We'll get you involved. Also, we're throwing in the free O1 seminar for now. It's going to be charged a lot for that later, but the O1, so you learn family-based and some employment-based. Contact me, info@immigrationlawyerstoolbox.com, lawyers with an S, plural, immigrationlawyerstoolbox.com, info@immigrationlawyerstoolbox.com. Having said all that, thank you so much. If you want to join the Circle.so community page, also send it to the same email. Until next one, have a good one.